Hi everyone. Good morning, good
This
afternoon.
meeting is being recorded.
Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, based on the time zone that you are in. Thank you all for joining today's session on how product management enables safe, aligned digital transformations. So before I get into this session, I would like to start with a quick introduction about myself. I did my Bachelor of Engineering in Mechanical, and then I did my MS in Quality Management in BITS Planning. So after that, I worked for one of the smallest manufacturing industry for a couple of years. Then I got into consulting. For the last 20 plus years, I am in consulting. So work with multiple industries globally. My area of strength is on how do we enable the industries on end-to-end process transformation, defining IT strategy, and helping them to redefine their operating model and so on. But for the last 4 years, I have been working with a lot of industries in the space of safe. How do we leverage safe and how do we help them to transform digitally? So that's been my role for the last 4 years. Right. So with this introduction, I would like to start today's session. There are two key objectives that I would like to achieve as part of today's session. Number one, provide the highlights of what are the product management best practices that are recommended by SAFE. And number two, deep dive into some of those product management practices and understand how it enables the digital transformation successfully with the industry example from logistic industry. To achieve these two objectives, I have 3-point agenda for today. Let me start with why products, wherein we'll talk about what industries are trying to do currently in the digital transformation era and how critical it is for them to productize their entire digital transformation journey. With that understanding on the agenda number one, then we'll deep dive into how we define and deliver the products. This is where we'll talk about the approach proposed by SAFE. Once we understood the approach, then we will deep dive into what are those product management practices that enables industry to transform digitally in this current digital transformation era. So again, we'll leverage most of the examples from logistic industry as part of deep diving into the product management best practices. Let me start with the agenda one, wherein we'll try to understand what is business agility. So there is a quote from Mr. Dean Leffingwell, the creator of SAFE. So there are three aspects that he highlights in the definition of business agility. So number one, business agility is not only related to a development or technology team. This is for the entire organization, which includes business as well, which includes business operations through which the customer needs are identified and fulfilled. That's aspect number one. Aspect number two, to enable those business operations successfully or with more efficiency and effectiveness, we need to come out with innovative solutions, innovative products. That's number two. Number three, how do we deliver those innovative solutions faster than the competition so that we either sustain our competitive advantage or gain the competitive advantage? So these are the three aspects that we need to be aware. Now that's where the organizations are trying to achieve business agility. So let's deep dive into this business agility with an industry example. So as I said, I'm going to take logistic industry. As you all know, there are quite a bit of logic industries that are like DHL, FedEx, or
Porkko,
UPS.
sorry to stop you.
Yeah.
Can you share the screen? Like I stopped it from my side.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Sure.
Share. Are you able to see my screen now?
It is coming up. Just a minute. Yes, we are able to see. Thanks.
Okay. No problem. So let us deep dive into business agility as a concept, as an approach that the industries are trying to do with an industry example. The industry example that I'm going to take is the logistic industry. As you all know, there are a lot of logistic industries like DHL, UPS, or FedEx. They deliver consignments from one location to another location for their B2B customers. B2B customers like it could be in automotive manufacturers or oil and gas industries and so on. So that's the context we are going to take. So for the logistic industry, they have to understand the need of their customer, in this case, need of their B2B customer. The need is to transport their consignment from one location to another location, right? To fulfill this need, so they perform a lot of value creation steps. They start with attracting the customer through digital marketing, generate leads, and so on. Then they understand the requirements and submit their code, right? And then based on the code, they have the perform commercial discussion with them, negotiation, and so on. And then they onboard the customer and then create and submit the contract. Once the contract is approved, then schedule and receive goods and then transport the goods, through which you, during that time, you manage the order and then deliver goods and submit the invoice. And once the goods are delivered, there may be a post service request or post delivery service request that may have to manage. So through these value creation steps, at the end, they deliver a value to the customer, which is their consignments are transported from one location to another location. That's a value for the B2B customers. The value for the industry, the logistic industry, is that they submit the invoice and they get paid, right? So the value, the need are understood from the customer perspective, and the needs are fulfilled through these value creation steps, and the value is delivered. This entire end-to-end journey is called operation value stream. In order for industry to perform this operational value stream effectively, they use a lot of products. Some of the products are like lead management, account management, and customer self-service, right? So the industries, whatever, either it's a logistic industry or any industry that you take, they want to perform these transactions multiple times, from understanding the customer need and fulfilling the customer need, right? So multiple times, repeatedly, consistently, with better efficiency and effectiveness. In order for them to achieve that goal, they have to apply system thinking. So they have to look at end-to-end optimization of this journey. In order for them to achieve that end-to-end optimization journey, they have to look at their existing product and try to modernize them, right? Modernizing, what I mean by that is understand what are the business capabilities that they have currently, and with those current business capabilities, what is an average lead time it takes for them, and how do we optimize it further by bringing in digital opportunities, digital capabilities. Let's take an example of lead management. So the scope of the lead management, if you look at, the lead is assigned to the sales rep, and then they schedule an appointment with the customer, have a negotiation or understand, communicate the organization different factors and how these organizations different from other organization, and understand their customer need and submit the code, and then have a negotiation with them, and then until it goes to win or loss situation. If it is win, then it goes to contracting. If it is loss, then you log those details and try to follow up it with them later on. So from lead assignment until win or loss, this is the scope of lead management. Let's assume that there are a lot of manual activities that are being done with the current capabilities. For example, leads are assigned manually, and the leads are qualified manually, and the leads are tracked manually, right? So with these lot of manual intervention in the current set of business capabilities, let's assume that they take 5 days to move from lead assignment to win-loss situation. If you have to optimize this 5 days to say 2 days or 3 days, then you have to modernize this lead management product with digital capabilities like AML solution. In this case, if you bring in AML solutions, we may be able to build the capabilities where you can source the lead from external sources, generate those lead, store that lead, qualify that lead automatically based on some business rules, and auto assign the lead to the sales representative based on the criteria. And if the sales representative doesn't act on it, then reassign to someone else after certain SLAs. So all this can be done in automated way with an AML solutions. If you do this way, then the lead time may be optimized from 5 days to 2 days. With this kind of optimization, you'll be able to influence this end-to-end journey timeline. But you have to repeat that, or you have to extend that for other product as well, so that we can implement this end-to-end optimization journey across these value creation steps. So this is how the industries are trying to achieve business agility at the operational value stream level, by modernizing some of their product with the digital capabilities, or they may come out with a new product altogether. So this is where the innovative solution comes into picture. Once we define innovative solutions, how fast we are able to deliver those solutions ahead of competitors so that we either sustain our competitive advantage or gain new competitive advantage. With this understanding, let's deep dive into product. Let's understand the definition of product. A product is a vehicle that delivers value. It has a clear boundary, known stakeholders, or well-defined users or customers. The customers would be internal customers or external customers. A product could be a service or physical product, something more abstract, which is the definition as per Scrum, right? If you look at, there are three key aspects that is very attractive. Number one, the product is always value focused, and it always customer perspective, which is good. Sometimes the customer could be internal customer within the industry, or the customer could be end user to whom you provide the services or deliver the product. And this product will exist as long as it continues to deliver value to their customer, right? And if you look at the landscape of a product, that can vary based on the size and complexity. A typical layer of a product that will something like this. You'll have overall product line, and then if you double click that, you'll have multiple product underneath that. And if you double click product, each product will have set of business capabilities. And if you double click business capabilities, it will have certain functionalities underneath that. This is a typical structure of a product landscape. Let's look at an example again from the logistic industry. The portfolio or a business line is a shipping business line, and the product line for that could be a digital platform or mobile app. If you double click that digital platform, you'll have multiple products underneath that. Some of the examples that I have shown here is lead management and customer self-service. If you double click lead management as a product, you will have multiple business capabilities underneath that. Like you will be able to create a profile for a customer or lead, and you will have a capability to instantly submit the code and ask for the code and submit your order. And then we'll have a capability to generate and assign the lead. So these are some of the examples of business capabilities that a lead management product can have. If you double click one of the business capabilities, you'll have a lot of functionalities underneath that. For example, if you double click generate and assign lead, you'll have multiple functionalities underneath that, like integrate with LinkedIn, so that you can automatically generate lead from LinkedIn source and then you store it in. Similarly, data mine. So from where you can generate leads. And those leads can be auto assigned to a particular sales representative based on the qualification criteria or experience or demographic information that you have configured. Similarly, you can monitor the lead and reassign it within certain SLA period. So these are some of the functionalities that a lead management product can have. So with this understanding, let's also have more insights about what is the benefits of product over projects. Project is always a short-term, siloed in nature, and always from the internal or organization perspective. Whereas product is long-term, holistic in nature, and it always from the customer-centric perspective. And the product definitions also enable how do we define the value. Because the product is always from the customer perspective. When the product is from customer perspective, you have to define what value it is going to deliver for the customer. And when you deliver the value to the customer, it should also help you to achieve your strategy that you have defined for your organization. And this product, it all enables or facilitates the funding at product level, because we have defined the value that is expected to deliver, and we also know how much investment is needed to develop those products. So based on the value versus investment, you can prioritize the product and fund them accordingly. But last but not least, the product also bring in a whole product thinking perspective. We start the product with the base foundational capabilities, and then we evolve the product with differentiating capabilities, which is something not available with the competitor. And then evolve further with the disrupting capabilities, which is more futuristic in nature. Those are the capabilities not even thought by our competitor or customer. So this is how we evolve the product. So that's another benefit that we get from product compared to projects. With this understanding of how we productize the entire digital transformation journey and how productization is enabling the end-to-end journey optimization of operational value stream, we'll move on to the next agenda, which is more about how these products are defined and delivered using SAFE as a framework. The objective of this approach is to identify right product and right business capabilities so that you'll be able to improve the efficiency, effectiveness, and experience of the end-to-end operation value stream that fulfills the needs of the customer. To achieve this objective, there is a 9-step approach that we have. We'll start with identifying product. So this is where we create a current state blueprint of what is your operation value stream, and to support that operation value stream, what are the product that we have currently, and what are the business capabilities that those products have, and what are the functionalities that we have underneath of each business capability. And also, what is the overarching architecture that we have. That's a blueprint that we create. Step number one. Step number two, we understand the strategy of an organization. As a logistic industry or as any industry, where they want to be in their business from 1 to 3 years time down the line. In order for them to achieve the strategy, your product landscape should help. So that is where you are going to create a futuristic product landscape view that will help to achieve this strategy. In order for us to create the future state product landscape view, we should understand what is our strength, what is our weakness, what is our threat, and what is our opportunities. For that, we need to perform SWOT analysis. As an outcome of the SWOT, we'll be able to identify new capabilities or new epics that you are going to build as part of your existing product, or you may also come out with a new product with new business capabilities or new epics. Once you have identified the new epics or new business capabilities for existing product or new product, then you have to do a mapping of that. These are the business capabilities that is going to be delivered by this product. So that mapping has to be done. That's step number 5. Then once you have this mapping done, the next step is create a product vision. So product vision is very critical because that is where we'll be able to communicate what is the problem that each product is going to solve for the customer, and how this product is going to differentiate us from the competitor. So vision statement is very critical. So create that product vision statement, and you already have the business capabilities identified for the future state. Then the next step is to create a roadmap. In order for us to achieve this product vision, what are the business capabilities that you need? You already identified, and you prioritize them in order in such a way that you'll be able to deliver more value with these certain business capabilities that will help us to advance the product vision. So create the roadmap, which is typically for the period of 1 to 3 years. Once the roadmap is created, at this stage, we know who are all going to use our product and what product they need and what are the capabilities that each product will have. So that's what the information we'll have at this stage. That is achieved through market research. Then the next logical step is to understand how the user is going to use this product and why they use this product. So that will help us to understand the challenges that they have in the current product and how we can address them through new functionalities. So we achieve that through design thinking tools. That's where we leverage tools like personas, empathy map, journey maps, and so on. So at the end of this design thinking tools implementations, we'll be able to know these are the challenges that the customer has, and this is the new functionality through which you are going to address the challenges. Ultimately, it will help us to get the product design, right? So once the product design is created with set of functionalities that is going to be implemented, the last step is to create a feature level roadmap. What are the functionalities that you are going to implement in this product in the next 3 quarters, right? So that's the last step. So when you perform this 9-step approach of product definition and delivery, so you will have 2 major output. Number 1, you'll have the product roadmap that is for 1 to 3 years of timeline with epics or business capability as a content. The next major output is PI or program increment level or feature level roadmap that you are going to deliver in the next 3 quarters. These are the 2 major output that you will be able to deliver when you follow this approach. Having understood this approach, now let's deep dive into this product management practices with an illustrative example. Let me start with identify product. Again, we're going to take this logistic industry example. So as I said, first step in identifying product is to identify your operation value stream, through which you identify the customer needs and fulfill the customer needs. This is an operational value stream that we already discussed. To perform the activities through these value stream steps, you have product line and product. So digital platform is a product line. Underneath that, you have multiple product. So these are some of the illustrative purpose product that I have showed, but this industry could have many more products like this. So digital marketing would be a product which have capabilities wherein you conduct campaign management through multiple channels, generate lead, and so on. And once the leads are generated, lead management is another product where it'll assign the leads to the sales representative and manage the lead, wherein you interact with your customer, understand the customer need, communicate about your organization differentiation factors, and then have a reach the quotation stage, and then have a negotiation, and then go to the win-loss situations. And then the third product where the quotation is submitted, and then you manage the quotations. And then the customer self-service is another product where the customer can create their customer profile, and they'll be able to provide their requirement, and they can get the instant quote based on their history, and they'll be able to submit an order, and so on. Contract management is another product that can have a capabilities wherein you create a contract, modify contract, amend contract, and so on. Account management is again a product that can be used by both logistic industry as well as the B2B customer. This is where the customer profiles are configured. The customer can see their order history. Logistic industry also can see the order history, quotation history, and what are the various communication that they had in the past. All that gets saved. So all that such a capabilities that we have as part of account management. Similarly, performance management, where you have a capabilities to measure the sales representatives' performance. What are the performance parameters? What is the revenue sharing model or incentives? All that get defined and monitored through this product. Similarly, you have a report and analytics as another product, wherein you'll get a lot of business insights about how this entire logistic industry performing, where the margin is high, which product where you are transporting on the higher side, which type of customers where you are serving more, those kind of insights that you will get, based on which you can focus your specific customer segment. So these are some of the product, and then you have business capabilities underneath that, right? So for illustrative purpose to understand subsequent product management practices, I'm going to pick up one product as an example, which is account management, and deep dive into those business capabilities and functionalities. So from account management product perspective, these are some of the current business capability that they have, right? Wherein you're able to configure the customer profile. And that's one capability. The second capability, where if you're adding a second account, same account second time, that gets auto deduplications. That's another capability. The third capability, where the customer account mining can happen, like cross-selling, upskilling related capability this product will have. The last one is referrals and promotion based on customer history, win-loss history, or order history, risk profiles. You can offer discounts. So these are the capabilities that account management can have. If you double click one of these business capabilities, you will have functionalities underneath that. So I'm using customer profile as a reference here. I'm double clicking that, and that has, these are the functionalities. Like you will be, as part of customer profile, you will be able to configure business information, and you'll be able to maintain your communication history, customer risk profile based on the number of times the payment delayed, or number of times the quotation got rejected. So based on those parameters, you can profile the risk of the customer, and the quotation history. This is where you can track how many times you submitted the quotation, how many times it was accepted, and you got into order or contract, and those history. So like that, if you double click each business capabilities, you will have functionalities. If you look at business capabilities and functionalities, there are three classifications that you have. One is foundational. So these are the minimum capabilities that we need for any product of this nature. And then you also have some capabilities which are differentiating. That means these are the capabilities or functionalities that we have, but the competitors do not have. And we also need to look at some capabilities which are disruptive in nature. So this is going to be very futuristic. So those kind of capabilities not even thought about by our competitors or customer. And then what is then What are the applications underneath this product which deliver these capabilities and functionalities? So you may have a front-end application, back office application, business rule engine. These are the applications. So going back to the project view versus product view, when you create project, these are all more inward facing, application centric. Whereas product view is more from the customer perspective. These are the capabilities that the customer use. Underneath that capability, these are the functionalities that the customer wants. So we need to always look at from the customer perspective. That's the main difference of project versus product. So this is the illustrative view of account management product. Okay, now having the understanding of current state view, the next step is to look at future state view of this product landscape. In order for us to get to that stage, we need to understand what is the strategy that we have as an organization. That's the second step. As a logistic industry, we have a strategic team that they want to become a best-in-class logistic organization. They achieve that strategic team through these OKRs, objective and key results. So some of the OKRs like improve the NPS score from current stage by 50% and increase year-on-year revenue by 15% and improve operational efficiency by 30%. These are all possible OKRs. If you achieve this, then the organization achieves the strategic team. So that's the strategy that they have as an logistic industry, which they want to achieve in next 1 to 3 year timeline. So having understood the current state product landscape and this strategy, now the next step is to envision our future state product landscape. In order for us to do that, as I mentioned earlier, we have to perform SWOT analysis, understand strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. In order for us to understand this SWOT, we need to gather data, right? So those data can be gathered through market research. So let's understand the 5-step approach of market research that's proposed by Luke Harmon in this book, Innovation Games. So step number 1, what are the questions that we are going to ask, or what hypothesis that we want to test? And what will you do with those answers of those questions? So this is step number 1 in the market research. Once you have this step done, then second step, what data is needed to answer these questions? Then the third step is acquire the data. The fourth step is analyze the data that you acquired. Fifth step is present the result in terms of based on this data, these are all our strengths, these are our weakness, and these are the opportunities and threats. Right? Let's take an example of account management product. So you want to understand that product strength and weakness and opportunities and threat. So one of the possible questions could be, what is the current state experience with this product? So that's something that you can ask your customer. Or what are the challenges that they have with the current capabilities or the current product? These are some of the possible questions. So what you will do with those answers of the question, you'll try to classify them as a strength or weakness and so on, right? And what is the data that you need to understand the experience of the customer? That's one of the question, right? So we need NPS, Net Promoter Score. That is the data we need. Then you acquire the data. So to acquire the data, either you have to do primary research or secondary research. If it's a primary research, you go and talk to the customer and understand what their experience and understand what their challenges, conduct a survey and get the data of NPS. That's a primary research. Secondary research means you don't talk to the customer, rather you look at the existing information like your production, customer feedback log or complaint log or customer support log, all those information that you can go through. From there, you can understand the experience of the customer. So these are the two sources through which you can gather the data, that is primary research data and secondary research data. Once the data is accurate, then you analyze the data and understand whether you have a better experience with this customer. The customers are having a better experience with your product or having some opportunities for improvement and so on. Then accordingly, you create your action plan or classify those data into strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. Right? So let's see how this SWOT analysis output will look like. Again, this is an illustrative view of market research, where the strength and weakness are internal perspective, more inward facing, whereas the opportunities and threat are external perspective. Let's look at the example of strengths. So based on the research that we did in the logistic industry example, one of the strengths are they have multiple distribution channels. They are able to reach the B2B customer through various channels. That's their strength. And they also have a best-in-class sales representative. So these are the two strengths. And what are the weakness? So they always have a delay in assigning the leads. So their lead management is not better because of a lot of manual work interventions are there. And also they don't have a better metrics to monitor the performance of lead management. This is their weakness. And then the opportunities what they have is the customers, the B2B customers are becoming a digital savvy. So if you have a customer's self-service, they can interact with us directly and then perform their entire ordering operation, ordering process or monitoring process on their own. So that's an opportunity that we have. And also we have a lot of cloud capabilities. That's an opportunity as a opportunity that exists in the market. The threats, if you look at, there are new entrants are coming in, our market players we have, and the competitors that we have in the logistics industries are having more sophisticated CRM offerings, customer relationship management offering. These are the threat. So with this SWOT inputs, we need to move to the next stage where you convert this information into an actionable outcome. So that's where you perform TOS analysis, which is threat, weakness, opportunity, strength. We leverage the strength, weakness, as well as opportunities and threat and convert them into actions. So for example, you have a multiple distribution channel as a strength, and you have an opportunity which is cloud capabilities. So how can you leverage this cloud opportunity and strength? You come out with a new business capabilities. Or another way, how do you capitalize on the opportunities by leveraging the strength? Here, you want to leverage the cloud opportunities and streamline your omni-channel approach. Because multi-channel is a strength. You are sourcing, you are interacting with the customer through various channels. However, you have to channelize that so that all the information that you gather through various channels can be accessed by anyone, anywhere, through any channel. So that's the opportunity that you have. So that's an action plan. Then how do you leverage your strength to address your threat? The threat is new entrants are coming and you have a best-in-class sales representative. Is there an opportunity to convert this best-in-class sales representatives as partners, right? If they become a partner, to manage them, to onboard them, to manage their performance, to manage their overall partnership model, you need to build new business capabilities. So that is an action items here. Similarly, if you leverage weakness, to minimize your weakness, how can you leverage opportunities? Again, to minimize this lead management related weakness, you can leverage cloud opportunities where you can come out with smart lead management with a new set of capabilities where you can automate most of the lead management related activities. That's an action item here. Similarly, the threat. So how can you leverage technology to minimize your weakness and threat? For example, you can modernize your account management in such a way that provides a lot of promotions and discounts, and also it provides an ability for touchless delivery, wherein the order can be created by customer and the order can be managed throughout the journey without manual intervention. So with these kind of technology related capabilities, the customer retention can be increased because their experience interacting with us is improved, the efficiency is improved, and they are able to transport their consignment with a lesser effort or lesser overhead. So that may help them to retain or continue to be with us for some more time. So this is how you leverage this SWOT information and convert them into actionable outcomes. So based on these actionable outcomes, let's look at how this future state of account management product will look like. So these are the existing capabilities that we already saw. So based on SWOT, we are adding these new capabilities, right? Some of them would be differentiators, some of them would be disruptive in nature. When you add these new capabilities, obviously you will also add new functionalities as well. So if you double click customer profile, in addition to existing functionalities, you are adding new functionalities. So this is how you are planning to modernize your account management product, which in a way will improve your overall efficiency of that product or whatever the operational value stream activity that we do, leveraging this product. So in order to implement these new business capabilities and new functionalities, what are the changes that we need in the architecture? Right? So we may introduce a new APIs, we may introduce new data platform or data integrated platform. These are some of the changes that you may have to introduce in your architecture in order for us to implement these new capabilities or new functionalities. So now we have done with the future state view of capabilities as well as functionalities. With this view, now we are going to create the product vision. As I said, product vision will talk about what problem this product is going to solve for the customer, in this case, account management product, and how this product is going to differentiate us from the competitor. These are the two key information that we have to communicate as part of your product vision. And we also need to understand why we need vision document, or why we need to define vision for each product. So there are two reasons. Number one, only when you have visions documented for a product, all the team members or all the product teams that's working on this product backlog will get aligned towards a common vision. That's number one benefit of why we need vision. Number two, it also motivates the product teams who is working on the backlog with the message that what kind of business benefits this product is going to deliver. So these are the two reasons why we need to define vision document, vision statement for each of the product. Let's look at the sample vision document for your account management product. So there are various ways or approaches through which you can define your vision for product. So what we are seeing is an example of postcard template. So wherein the postcard is from the feature to this logistic company by this B2B customer. So they are thanking the logistic company for creating account management product because they have capabilities like customer profile, promotions, touchless order delivery capabilities that improve their efficiency and experience of their consignment transportation. It also helped in improving on-time delivery with optimal cost for transportation. So this is the benefit that they achieve. So this is futuristic, as if they achieved that in 2-year timeline. So this is what will motivate them. This communicates what is the problem they are going to solve and how it is going to differentiate our product from other competitor, and also it communicates the business benefit that is going to be achieved through this product. So having this vision statement, having the futuristic product capabilities and functionalities, the next step is to create a roadmap. So this roadmap is typically created for 1 to 3 years timeline with the detail. With the first year focus is on quarterly based delivery and how you are going to plan and deliver in the Q1, Q2, Q3. And the second year onwards, you will have half-yearly focused plan, and third year onwards, you have a yearly focus, right? So that is how you create the plan. And the content of this roadmap will be business capabilities, which you call it as an epic. So you have business epic and enabler epic. Enablers are architecture. Without the architecture epic, you cannot implement business epic. So for each product, you will have set of architectural epic as well as business epic. So this is an escalation management epic or business capability. In order to implement that, these are the two architectural epic that we need. And this is the product number 1. And this is the product number 2, omni-channel communication capability. Sorry, this is the capability number 2, which will be part of your account management product. To implement this, there is another architecture or enabler epic. And then the third capability is referral programs for customer. And to implement that, you have to have one enabler epic. So these are the capabilities that we have planned to deliver in first year. And then you will have another set of capabilities for halfway of year 2, the second part of year 2, and then what are the capabilities that you plan in third year and so on. So this is how you create the roadmap based on the priorities of the capabilities in order for which will be identified to achieve our vision of the product. So when you have a capability, you will not implement the capabilities in full swing first time, right? So what you do is that you decompose that capabilities into minimum viable product and then the remaining set of features, right? So what are the minimum product for each of the capabilities? That is what you define first, which will consist of multiple features underneath that or functionalities underneath that. So for example, this escalation management capability may have 20 functionalities altogether. So instead of building all the 20 capabilities, you will only identify the minimum viable product. This could be 5 features. So define the 5 features and as a scope of MVP, and to build that MVP, how much budget you need. And also you will have budget for remaining 15 features that you want to build as part of this capability. right? So once you have this minimum viable product defined for each capability and budget defined for each capability, you will create a business case and submit to the portfolio management team, who will look at the budget versus value expected to deliver by each of the MVP, and then they approve or reject. Once it is approved, then that's where it gets added to the roadmap, and then you start delivering it. Okay, so at this stage, we know who are all the users of the product, what products that we have, and what are the capabilities of those products. And to some extent, we also have identified functionalities by decomposing those capabilities, right? So the next logical step is to look at some of the KPIs, right? So when you implement these new capabilities and new functionalities, how are we going to influence our business outcome? How are we going to help to improve our business performance? That is critical, right? In order for us to measure that, we need to have a set of metrics. Those metrics typically are two types. One is lagging indicator, another one is leading indicator. Lagging indicator are having set of metrics which will measure the end outcome, right? End business outcome. Whereas leading indicator again are set of metrics that will measure the progress that we are making towards the end outcome. For example, let's look at customer acquisition cost. So using the current lead management, you are spending some acquisition cost. By optimizing or modernizing those products with new capabilities, you are going to reduce that or optimize that. That is what's our goal. So whether you optimize the customer acquisition cost or not, you will know only after 6 months or 1 year. But until that time, you have to have some leading indicator which will help us to see whether we are making progress in the right direction or not. In that, for that particular lagging indicator metric, you can have a metric which is what is the average customer onboarding turnaround time. If this average customer onboarding turnaround time is reduced, then there is a higher chance that your acquisition cost also will be reduced. So you can monitor this leading indicator on a month-on-month and see if the time is optimized. If the time is optimized in compared to previous time that you used to take, then that's give the indication that you are going to optimize your overall customer acquisition cost. So these are some of the current metrics that you have of leading and lagging indicator. What about the future state, right? You may have the same metrics of customer growth rate and lead to sale rate, etc. But after implementing these new capabilities and new functionalities, how am I going to influence these metrics output? For example, whatever the X growth rate that I have, X percentage of growth rate that I have needs to be improved by another 5% through this implementation of new capabilities or new functionalities. Similarly, you have a X turnaround time. It could be like 5 days or to onboard the customer. I want to optimize 20% of that time. So if you are able to achieve this, then whatever the business capabilities or functionality that you implemented is really helping you to make progress towards business outcomes or helping you to achieve business outcome. So with this information, now you have the product roadmap, product vision, and then you have the metrics defined, right? So the next step is we know who are all the users of the product and what capability that the product has, right? The next step is what is the purpose of the users who use the product, or why they use the product and how they use the product. While they use the product, what challenges they have. So that is what we are going to understand, where we are going to use design thinking tools like persona or journey map creation, empathy map creation, and so on. So let's deep dive into persona. So persona are fictional characters, right? Which you identify based on your research. Fictional characters where a group of different customers are expected to use a similar product in a similar way. So that is what is persona all about, right? We have to identify personas who are using our product. For example, lead management or account management. Who are all the personas who will use the product? In case of lead management, as I said, sales rep is a one persona who will use the product, right? And when they use the product, they may have certain challenges or certain problems. So capturing the current state challenges of let me take a step back. So capturing the challenges that they undergo or capturing the challenges of the customer face is the main objective of persona definitions. Let's look at the approach that we follow for persona definition. There is a 5-step approach. Start step number 1, where you collect the user information. So the user information again collected based on the research. The research would be a primary research or secondary research. The second research would be to go through your product vision, because that has the list of what are the problems that you are going to solve, and some of the case studies or some of the existing information about the users, insights about the challenges and so on. All that information you gather, and then you identify the pattern. You identify some kind of behavior similarities. That is the next step. So based on the behavior similarities or pattern that you identify, group them or cluster them as a one persona. For example, you will create one sales representative persona, one end user persona who use the product while they interact with this logistic industry. You may have a buyer persona who buys this product, and so on, right? So once you identify those persona based on these patterns that you define, then the fourth step is to create a persona documentation. So this is where you document each persona, what product they use, and what is the purpose of they using the product, and what are the pain or challenges that they have with the current product, and what are their wish list with respect to the product. All that you capture. Once you capture this information to address this pain point, to address their need or wish, you will come out with new functionalities. Okay. So the second design thinking tool is create a journey map. So again, this journey map is created for each persona that we identify. Sales rep, there will be one journey map. Buyer persona, end user persona, there will be journey map. So journey map is created for each persona, which captures the entire journey from start to end. For example, lead management situation, where the sales rep start with lead is assigned to them. That's the starting point. And then after that, what are the journey steps that they go through until win-loss situation, right? So you capture those journey. That is what is the objective of this journey map creation. So that is done again by 5-step approach. Start with determine the persona level touch points. So during this journey of sales representative, for example, what are the touch points they have with the customer, with the industry, or with the other product within the industry, right? And then create a journey that they go through. And as part of each touch point, what are their pain that what is their experience? Their experience would be pleasant experience, or the experience would be painful experience, or the experience would be neutral. So once these experiences are captured, and then to address those neutral experience or painful experience, you come out with new functionalities. And then those functionalities are added to your backlog. And then after implementing those functionalities, whether the experience, whatever the neutral experience or painful experience is turned to be a pleasant experience or not, that is what you have to monitor and report. So with these two design thinking tools output, you will have set of new functionalities new functionalities to your backlog. So we already have set of new functionalities as part of your future state product landscape. So to that, you add these functionalities. With that, you have a consolidated list of functionalities that are needed for the product. Then you prioritize them based on value expected to deliver from these functionalities versus implementation cost of these functionalities. So you have to pick up the functionalities which is expected to deliver more value with lesser cost. That's how you should have to sequence the order, right? So whatever the functionality that is expected to deliver higher value with lesser cost will be picked up as a topmost priority. And then next high value feature or functionalities with the next least implementation cost will be picked up as a second priority, and so on. So with that inputs and priorities, you will create a PI roadmap or feature level roadmap. Again, as I said, this feature level roadmap will be created for next 3 quarters. Quarter 1 or first 3 months, where these features, whatever we define, are very, committed or concrete with more details and very structured plan that we have to deliver this feature. Whereas the quarter 2 and quarter 3 features, whatever we have defined, which are all forecast one, which may undergo change at the end of delivery of these features or functionalities. So once you have defined these functionalities as a quarterly roadmap, the first quarter roadmap, whatever we created, or the scope, whatever we defined for first quarter, is going to be delivered by multiple agile teams or multiple product teams. This is an illustrative view of part 1, part 2, part 3, which could be a streamlined team where the focus is to deliver features or functionalities of those products. To deliver, in order for this streamlined team to deliver these functionalities, you may have a support team or shared service team like platform team or enablement team. Platform team is the one that provides services that are required by these streamlined team. Services like integration services or APIs that may be consumed by this product team can be delivered by this platform team. Then enablement team is another shared service team which can build the new capabilities that are required for these teams to deliver the feature faster. For example, DevOps capabilities or test automation capabilities, which are all needed for these teams in order for them to deliver feature faster. So this team is the one who is responsible to build and deliver those capabilities. So with this multi skill teams or cross-functional teams, the features are delivered during that quarter, right? Once those features are delivered during the quarter, at the end of the quarter, we will measure the performance. So we measure the performance from two perspectives. Number one, whatever we planned, did we deliver or not? That's more of predictability of the quarter scope or predictability of this arc or team of teams. How many features that we planned to deliver as part of this quarter and how many of them got delivered. So predictability, velocity, and average cycle time that we took to deliver one feature or one user story. All that sort of metrics are measured here at the end of the quarter one, at the end of these features delivered. Once those features are delivered and it start getting consumed by the end user, because of this consumption of new capabilities, new functionalities, are we able to optimize your turnaround time for customer onboarding? Or are we able to optimize the lead management time from 5 days to 2 days? All that you will measure after those functionalities are deployed. So, for example, today is when the functionalities are deployed. From 1 month now, turnaround time is reduced compared to earlier month. And so month on month, you will measure these product metrics in terms of turnaround time, how it is optimized, or in terms of the lead management time, how it optimized, and so on. So that is the another metrics. So eventually, you'll be able to see some benefit here. So that is what the outcome that we intended to achieve when we created roadmap, right? And if we are not able to achieve that intended outcome here, then you have to take course corrections, test and learn kind of thing. So with these new functionalities, we are not able to optimize turnaround time means what is that we are missing. Go back and try to refine, deliver that, and see if you are able to influence your outcome. So with that, I end my session. Happy to hear from you on any questions or thoughts.
Yeah, I would like to give my feedback here right away.
Sure.
Mohana here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a wonderful session. So get to see a lot of insights that goes beyond the normal product management that we don't get to see on day-to-day basis. Wonderful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mona.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mohana, for the feedback. So we have a few questions on the chat. What are the real requirements that is being addressed here, or what are the pain points that is being addressed?
Yeah, pain
Govinda,
points.
you still have that question, or is it covered as part of the session? Just want to check on that.
Yeah, I think it has been covered in a way, but I mean, one comment, obviously this is very much a safe-centric approach, but in the real world, product management implementations tend to vary a lot from this, because this is purely, being dissected, a lot of these slides, and you can see it's safe material all the way, right? I mean, reflecting on APM and all those good concepts, so which is nothing wrong with that. But in the real world, my real question was, yes, if it's a real product line, you go through this entire discovery part, and and then you've rightfully covered the assessment through primary and secondary research, and that's kind of covering a part of it. But in the real world, if you're not using SAFe, then how would you approach this? This was what I was trying to reflect through my series of questions. Thank you.
Okay, sure. So yeah, even if you're not using SAFe, so some of the fundamental points that we need to address through product management, as you rightly said, what is the challenge or pain that we have while you use the product, or what is the problem that we want to solve through this product? That question needs to be addressed, right? So in order to address or answer that question, whatever the best practice that we need to adopt. It could be like you start with, as you said, market research is basic thing where you understand the customer's challenges or pain that you are trying to solve. So with that, you can directly define your product vision, right? And then directly define what are the capabilities that I need which are not there currently, or what are the new functions that I need which are not there currently, which could solve my customer problem. Then identify that and directly plan it and implement. Even the plan could be very ad hoc plan or very simple plan, whichever the way that you think will help you. You can create and then deliver those capabilities as per the plan. And more importantly, you need to measure the outcome to make sure that whether the intended goal of solving the problem or improving the business outcome is achieved or not. If that is not there, then what are the new functionality that you delivered, whether using safe practice or non-safe practice or generic practice, that whole approach is not actually value adding one or not result oriented one.
Yeah, fair enough. And I mean, I'm also taking note that you said that yours is in a B2B space. So your customer segments are radically different, because in the B2B space, in the logistics, we can understand what sort of space you'll be coming in from. So I guess that's the context that you need to build around. Thanks.
Yes, right. Thank you.
Thanks, Govinda. And we have Balaji raised his hand. Balaji, you want to go next?
Yeah, thanks, Satish. So to the previous question, actually the speaker used SAFe as one of the ways to implement product management. Or I think he had used the concept of product group, product line, capabilities, or aligning the teams to those capabilities is the key for the product management. Only I see the difference is the execution part comes either to a SAFe or Spotify, then you execute on certain cadences, synchronization, etc. But he covered that basic fundamentals of how do you organize yourself for a product organization. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you, Balaji.
So thanks, Balaji. So you have a question earlier, how architecture is being taken care in product management. I hope that is covered as part of the session, right?
See, in SAFe anyway, we have this architectural runway which will take care of this architecture part, right? But but generally, what I see in the industry is that nobody talks about architecture when it comes to the product management, and architecture defines your product. Okay, so the way you interact between the organization, the way you interact with the customer, architecture is the key element which will drive your organization design and then organization culture, etc. Okay, so that part, if we could have covered a little bit on how architecture influences the product management, would have been good, Satish.
Sure.
Okay. Sure. Thank you for the feedback.
Thanks. And we have a couple of more questions. Just a minute. Let me bring up the questions. What is the change when analysis the product once we study it? Any change when the analysis is done and the implementation is completed and then the change comes up?
Yeah. So if the change
Satish,
comes...
sorry to interrupt, it's actually challenges. What are the challenges analysis the product after study it? If I'm not wrong.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Could you please repeat the question? What are the challenges once the product is started or implemented? Is it?
Product is analyzed. What are the challenges?
When the product is analyzed, what are the challenges?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's been there in the chat. You can just see it.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So yeah. So when you analyze the product, yes, obviously the data quality, we need to gather data in terms of where we have the challenges with respect to certain functionality of the product, or where some of the functionalities are being pursued well. So these are the information that we are trying to gather as part of analysis. But if the approach, for example, if you're using a secondary research where you are trying to gather those insights from multiple sources, if the sources are not very reliable, then you may not be able to get the right outcome of that analysis. So reliability of source is one important point. If it is the research through primary research where you interact with the customer has to be very honest or very fair in giving the open comments. So otherwise, if they give comments which are not really helping you, or which is not right one, or then also you may not be able to use this information in the right way. So data quality or data reliability from the source perspective are some of the challenges, and also the cost involved in gathering these data or analyzing this product also is another challenge. So based on the budget that we have, or based to what extent this product is going to influence on your business outcome, all that will play a role to define the budget and to define which research that you are going to use to gather data.
Can I add my feedback to that question?
Sure, please.
See, from the product analysis, biggest challenge would be market fit. Identifying the market fit would be a bigger exercise for you, right? Once the vision is established, after you cannot change anything. So biggest product analysis will be identified through market fit. That's a big topic. And that's what other speaker has told about secondary research and etc. Right? So then that is one thing which we have seen. The second is about how do you manage your dependencies and then sequence the features or capabilities which you want to go through. Okay, that will be bigger challenges when you wanted to do after your product analysis.
Thank you, Balaji.
Thanks, Balaji. Govinda, you raise your hand.
So one of the real challenges in the modern day world is, there are a lot of features which are being added to key products. Like in this session itself, we talked about a lot of automation using digital. So you have those capabilities, but the real challenge is to get the correct data to be able to validate that. Because in many cases, what is happening is you have people understand the various algorithms, but there is no substantiative data that is available which will allow you to test and then actually modulate what is the final launch that you will do. So data becomes a very, very integral part of the launch. In fact, that's the biggest challenge in one of the surveys we were seeing today. So that's about 70% of the challenges for lack of adequate data. And even if you have that data, many times you're not able to use it. That's the other part because of the various problems around that. Thanks.
Sure. Thanks for adding that point. And the next question is like, what is the criteria when create persona?
The criteria when create persona.
Yes.
Yeah. So personas, the certain criteria that you have based on whether you are going to have as a primary persona or secondary persona or this negative persona. These are the three type of personas that we have. Primary persona is the one who is expected to use this product predominantly. So that's the persona for whom you design the product, right? And secondary persona is the one whose requirement or whose need also needs to be addressed without compromising on the primary persona's need and expectation. So these are the two things that you have to have in your mind while you group the personas into a certain cluster or group.
And the next question is like how design thinking helps in product management.
So as I said, design thinking tools is what we leverage to decide on how this product being used and why this product being used, right? So when you know how this product being used by defining persona or journey map, you'll be able to understand the challenges that they have or the users have with the current product. Similarly, you'll also be able to understand what is their expectation that they want to fulfill by using this product. So that can be identified based on the goal or the purpose for which they use the product, right? So you'll be able to gather the challenges as well as the purpose for which they use the product. With those information, you'll be able to convert this product or define your overall user design or UX design, right? For example, they're not able to use certain functionalities. It could be based on the color, color screen or the way in which the UI is indented, right? All that could be a challenge that they may highlight. Then you redesign your entire UI to suit their need. So this is one example. So this is how you will gather the challenges from user perspective that you convert into new functionality will be resulting in a different design or revised design for your product.
Balaji, you have a point?
Porkko, the product taxonomy also would touch the persona, right? Or the product taxonomy touch only the organization design?
No, it will touch the product design as well. You're right.
Org design also it will touch, right? Product taxonomy.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you go about identifying the taxonomy in this example, where in the B2B space?
So B2B, it could be, go ahead.
Or through only capabilities you draw those changes? Because your organization is very big, and I don't know whether for your division alone you came out with this product implementation, but org-wide you may not have touched the changes, right?
Yeah, you are right. So these capabilities and the corresponding product are all attributed to the shipping business line.
Correct.
So there are other business line like carrier business line. So we didn't touch that. Yeah, right. But there could be some overlap of product and capabilities between these. That kind of scenarios are there. For example, the lead management. This is going to be the same, right? There will be a huge overlap between shipping business line as well as the carrier business line. So there could be always work.
So this becomes a taxonomy, right?
Correct. Exactly.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure. And thanks, Balaji. And your next question: how do we convince a traditional project manager to move to agile roles like product manager?
This is a great question. Yeah. So project manager, the typical role we all know, it's more of managing the project within the schedule, within the cost, within the scope, right? So that's how they tend to perform their role. But if you have to transition that role to a product manager role, obviously we have to train them on all the product management practices. Regardless of which approach or which framework that we use, we have to train them, starting with what is the difference between project and product. So they have to change the mindset from project to product mindset, right? The way they think project is more of siloed in nature. They just start and end and move on, right? Whereas product is a long living one. So that mindset they have to get into it. That's a starting point. And then they have to be taught on all the practices that they have to follow. And then if required, they also have to acquire some business knowledge as well. Because when you are trying to define the capabilities for each of the product, so we need to have some business knowledge. And we should also be able to interact with the architecture. So going back to some of the points touched upon on the architecture. So when you have set of business capabilities defined, without having a technical feasibility assessment, without having architectural change assessment, you cannot prioritize them or create them the roadmap, right? So for that, you have to interact with architecture. So we should be able to orchestrate all these roles, right? In terms of identifying capabilities, interact with the business, interact with architecture. If you have to launch the product, you may have to interact with your sales team, marketing team. So there are quite a bit of role involved with whom you have to orchestrate the entire product management practices. So the stakeholder management is the best skill that the project management have. That will become a very handy here. However, some nuances around product management they have to learn, and they have to transition so that they can be a successful product manager.
And just to add on from my side, typical project managers might be strong in the technical skills. As a product manager, they might have to bring up the domain skills or the domain expertise as well, along with the technical skills. And Mohana, does this answer your question? How to transition from Scrum Master role to product manager role? I guess it covered both the topics, both the concepts. Okay. So the next question is like, what are the key challenges the product domain is going to face in the upcoming years? Or at the same time, what are the opportunities it has?
Yeah, domain actually is going to have a great challenge, because the domain, even if you are an expert in one domain, may not be a differentiator, right? So every industries are getting into other domain. For example, Amazon, they are getting into the banking, and Tesla, so they are getting into the insurance. So manufacturing getting into insurance. So having one domain expertise may not be a strength anymore, right? So it's like a I skill, right? You got to become a T or E skill, where you have to have multiple domain knowledge and expertise as well. Yeah. So that's always a challenge. Not for us to compete with other competitors who are extending into other domain. We have to become expertise in other domain as well.
Thanks, Vargo. And any more questions? And we got lots of feedback, like great session, timing related, great training, great session, and we got requests for sharing your LinkedIn profile. I already shared with the participants. Another question or a request is like, is there any possibility of sharing the slides?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, sure.
Okay, sure. So you can share it with us. So we will share it with all the registered participants. So even that's got clear. Any other questions? Last minute points?
Porkko, when you're adding slide, no, can you cover one or two slides on architecture?
Yeah, sure, Balaji, I'll try.
Because see, that is one of the challenging area in the product management. We are also building capabilities around project to product, and we strongly follow team topologies plus the flow framework plus all the other Mike Christian's work actually. Okay, so we get a lot of confusion when we get into this. Say for Spotify, how does it differ? And typically the questions around how do you transition the roles of project manager or anybody to product manager. So we are building a big kind of building the collateral within our group, so that we are actually trying to see how do we sell this project to product concept outside our company. Okay, so that's where all these readings are coming up. So I'm not expert in it, but we have started reading, and we find architecture is the biggest challenge in any organization, and it clashes very, very badly within the org structure, and that's where your OCM comes into play, and we don't have people on the product management side who is doing a good OCM. I've not seen people OCM and product management going together. I've not seen, and that is where this whole VSM consortium plus flow Mike Christian guys comes into play and tries to help you actually. Okay. So if possible, just cover one.
I'll try, because these contents are related to client material as well. So let me try my level best and see if I can.
At least the concept.
Concept, yeah. I'll try to create as a concept and separate slide, and then outside of my client environment as well as my organization environment, and see if I can send it.
Sure.
I'll try, definitely.
Yeah. Good session, Porkko, and thanks.
Thanks, Balaji, for adding. And Balaji mentioned that svpg.com, Silicon Valley Product Group. They are like one of the excellent product management contexts. They are bringing different books like Empowered, Inspired, and Loud. The product management books, it is like really excellent material and the information from their side. Govinda, you have a
I mean, in these previous slides, we saw you mentioned about the use of TOWS as approach. And this is obviously for a certain line of business pertinent to logistics. And there you said was shipping. But common approach would say that this is also applicable. Let's say we, instead of saying shipping, we talk about air freight and in terms of logistic industry. So a lot of these functionalities and features which come out of this TOWS for shipping can also be gainfully be reused there. So in our side, we used to do it for across all lines of business parallelly so that we can leverage on the learning. So what has been the, I just wanted to understand the learnings from your side, because you said you're from one line of business, let's say shipping. So how would it be leveraged across the other lines of business, which is essentially a portfolio, I guess?
Yes. So I touched upon that. The carrier business line is another line where most of the product from the shipping business line are being leveraged. As I said, lead management is one of the example, and there is a touchless delivery is the another capability where without any manual intervention, once the order is created, there is no manual intervention. Automatically, everything is done until the product is received or the consignment received and then invoice is processed. So that's the very futuristic capability that we are working on. So that is also something can be leveraged across both carrier business line as well as the shipping business line. So while we create these business capabilities and the functionalities, we try to see what are the commonalities between these two business lines and then make sure that that is leveraged across both. So that's the kind of approach we follow. So obviously the applications also, underneath that application also will have some overlap between these two business lines.
Correct. So that is done at an organizational level almost, if it is
right.
going
Yes,
to be.
You're right.
Yeah. So because, thanks. I just wanted to clarify that. That's about it.
Sure.
Back to you, Satish.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.
Satish, I have one question. Sorry. Last question.
Yes, sure.
So I would request Satish as well as Porkko to conduct one more session, or keep it continuing if possible, because I find it very interactive, very useful.
Sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we can keep it continuing one or two sessions more.
Definitely. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks for bringing that, Mohana. So in the beginning, Sharath mentioned that we are looking for speakers who would like to share the product management related concepts. So like Porkko, we started with Porkko. Now we have like Balaji and others. Whoever is interested, yes, let me or Sharath know. We will have the sessions in 2023. And again, this will be the last session. Topic related session we are doing in 2022. The next 2 weeks like Christmas and New Year, so everyone will be busy with our families and spending time together. 2023, let us know. We will schedule the sessions and we can get it done.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thanks, Mohana. Okay, so we shared the WhatsApp group link. If in case you're not part, we have different groups, out of which we shared one of the group. If you are in one of the group, yes, you're part of the all other groups by default. And the Telegram groups where we have different topic related Telegram groups, and the YouTube playlist where the recording will be uploaded, and we will share the slides and the recording link to all your registered email address. Okay, any other slides? Yes, Maha. Once we receive the slides from Porkko, we will share the slides as well through email. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the session. Thanks everyone for all your active participation and making it interactive. And thanks Porkko for being a host for our session today and sharing your valuable inputs from the product management perspective. Thanks everyone. Have a nice weekend.
Thanks, Satish. Thanks, Porkko.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Good night.
Thank you.